Does it stream straight to YouTube, or does it take a while before it uploads on there?
It live streams, and then after the fact, I don't know if the video on demand of it is available right away because it's YouTube,
Right,
so
yeah.
sometimes it takes a few hours, but Twitch normally is.
I just started saving them all into my a folder on YouTube for myself.
Ooh, yay!
So I can, because I'm always the first on, so it's really easy to find myself.
Have you heard my my life hack with YouTube?
No, but I use it a lot, so I might be intrigued.
For comedians, or at least for myself, because I have mental illnesses. What I do is, if I do a set that's on YouTube, I'll download the video, but then like YouTube also, if you're uploading it, when you go to like put in subtitles, lets you download the transcript. So I'll use that like for my notes.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, saves me some time. I guess I should probably like do the intro though, so that you guys don't have to keep looking at my face.
Like your face.
Yeah, like my face.
Your face.
So you weren't gone for long, Tom.
Yeah. I know.
The big goodbye.
There's a story.
2 weeks later.
Big goodbye for a whole week. But hello and welcome to tonight's episode.
No, it's good to see you.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah,
it's good.
Can't lose. You're great. Rebecca's great. You can't lose.
Yeah, no. So I will tell the story about that in just a bit, especially since we're waiting for people. But Lisa, if I believe I made you co-host, so if you could keep an eye on the participants room in case they were trying to get in. Hello and welcome to tonight's episode of Too Funny Feedback. My name is Tom. Co-hosting the show with me, as always, is Lisa. Tonight, each of our comedians will be performing a 5-minute set. I don't have the timer today, so I'll be giving you a very sensual 1 minute when you have 1 minute left in your set. Yeah, and Lisa and I will also be giving about 5 minutes of feedback before moving on to the next comedian, which, although right now that it's just John. We're going to be watching John's 1 hour special tonight, and then we're going to do a 1 hour roast of it afterwards. But while we invite discussion...
Entirely justified.
I know, right? I honestly, like, kind of want to give this show the tagline of, like, world's nicest roast. But no.
Yeah.
So,
you guys are very nice.
John, you specifically... If you have any concerns about the notes that we give during your set, feel free to follow up with us afterwards. And also, blah, 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 talked about that already. To our audience, keep in mind as we get this started that we're trying to help facilitate John's growth. So he comes with only 1 level of experience. I'm trying to, like, adjust my script as I'm saying it. But, like, also, comedy's subjective. You won't agree with me and Lisa because we're hacks, and you shouldn't listen to us in the first place. Why are you watching? Oh, wait, you're not. Anyway, we're also learning to give good feedback. Additionally, if the audience or the comedian enjoys the show and wants to consider making a donation while watching at districtcomedy.io or following the District Comedy platforms. The link to all that can be found in the episode description. Special announcement. Rebecca, who took over the show, as I mentioned in like promoting her taking over, is much more talented than me. And part of that is that she just got cast to play at like a professional theater. So, yay, Becca. But that being said, she is also being taken away for that reason for a couple of weeks, just 2 weeks. So this week I will be here, next week I will be here, and then it'll be back to Becca, which is, I don't know, it also sounds like the name of, like, I don't know, a 90s sitcom. Anyway, so that's why I'm here, and...
Love you, Tom.
Yeah, that being said, I'm done.
I feel so special. I feel like that was all for me.
It was just for YouTube. Well, let me check. Let me actually look.
No, don't check. I feel so special.
No, we have 0 viewers, so it was just for you. I just wanted to take a look at the count.
Oh,
I feel like this is all orchestrated just for me. Is it my birthday?
Oh,
it's not.
Desiree's here. Shut the fuck up, John.
Our face will have turned. You and Desiree, man.
Man.
The OGs. The OGs.
Punch card. Get like a free. I don't know.
Desiree in the house.
Hi, Desiree.
Sorry, I'll never do that again.
No, you can say in the house. I mean,
I really can't. I think I just
tell because of her background, but I am assuming she is in her house.
She's like in a cool like they're tagging walls.
She's in a cool fork.
Yes. Like
I see the fork.
Are you in an artist loft? That looks cool. Or you're like in a video game. I like it.
Yes, all of those things.
Actually, she's just in Canada. That's it.
Yeah, not just Canada. Canada's a magical place. But yeah, so what you missed is John's about to start us off with his set. And Becca's not here because she is talented and is in a play and doing stuff for the next 2 weeks, but then she'll be back. And also, I literally ran through the door and started the meeting is what I did. So we don't have a timer tonight. And as you know from TBNJ, when that happens, 1 minute before the end of your set, I will go 1 minute, and it'll be a good time. So it's probably not worth posting, but the set list is John than you. We had people sign up, and hopefully they come. Is it just me and John? Other people signed up, but they're not.
I'm sure Amira will be here.
Yeah. Okay.
Amira.
She was in the other mic before me, and she left before me, so I thought she was here.
Son of a bitch.
My God.
Maybe she's just peeing or something.
I'm sure she'll be here.
Lisa, when she comes in, do you know how to give her record permissions?
No, I have no idea.
So at the bottom of your screen,
yes,
is something called participants, and you'll click on her name, and then it will give you mute or more, and then you'll click on more, and it'll give you give permission to record.
Seeing as you're talking about it, is it okay if I record my set?
Yeah, I could do that.
If that's okay.
I'm sorry. To record. You did it. No, you're good.
I feel bad now. But
do you want permission while I'm giving it out, Desiree, to record your set?
Sure.
Okay, cool. I also really like it because it wasn't until TBNJ last week that I realized everybody else could hear the woman's voice.
Yeah, I know.
You are now being recorded. I was like, I just thought I was like, going schizophrenic. Anyway, give it up, everybody, for our first comedian. He comes to us all the way from Ireland. You might know him. John O'Keefe.
This meeting is being recorded.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I think Zoom brought that voice in just to stop open micers trying to better themselves. I have a theory about that. Hello. My girlfriend is great. I love her. My girlfriend's a pescatarian. That's not a vegetarian. A pescatarian's where you pretend to be a good person. I eat meat, so I know I'm a monster. But she looks down on me for it while she's eating the face of a still dead fish. No questions asked. I'm like, baby, that looks like a really fresh piece of salted compromise. Like, what have pescatarians got against fish? It's discrimination. I'm a monster. I eat everything equally, except fish, actually. Isn't that neat? I eat meat, but not fish. I think we should have our own name. I'm volunteering Dead by 55. I think. So I'm not a vegan. Vegans are kind of tedious, but they're very consistent. I like that. Vegetarians are like, they make a bit of noise. They can be hypocritical, but they come from a good place. But pescatarians, what are you doing? You want the kudos of being a good person while getting your omega-3s? No, it's one or the other. You can't have a clear conscience and live longer. Take it from an Irishman. The way forward is repression. I'm not trying to fish shame, by the way. I'm not trying to fish shame. But fish are pretty ugly. Let's be fair. They look rough. If that's why you want to eat a fish, I'm on board. Okay. Look, a lamb is cuter than a pollock. And a cow has got more dignity than a carp. And a dolphin is not a fish, which is why I eat them. There's different rules. Woo! So, man, over this pandemic, I developed a weird allergy to other people. Woo!
Hey!
They are everywhere. Look, forget the virus. I need the cure for scowls in the supermarket. That's more important to me. The other day, someone was walking along the other side of the beach, and I had to yell out, "Quick crowd me, you freak." Try internet dating. So I think governments need to shape up and get this sorted. I don't think it's too much to ask have everyone walk around in public, no eye contact, talking only for essentials, like giving your name at Starbucks. Because otherwise you're just being rude to the nice young barista who's way too happy to be working in Starbucks. Why are people who work in Starbucks so happy? Is Starbucks a cult? I really don't understand. So before the pandemic, I used to live alone, and I would sometimes feed cats out my window, which is the test for male underachievement. How much cat food do you buy cats you don't own? I lived in a studio apartment. It was lovely. And my walls were this kind of combination of yellow and yellower tea stains. My bed turned into the oven. It was cool. And I used to get my Wi-Fi from my neighbors after a while. And I love that term, studio apartment. Doesn't it sound like sophisticated urbane cocaine parties and a little bit less and less like pissing while also doing your dishes? I don't know what these studios are modeled on, like wartime Berlin. I'm not quite sure. My girlfriend has a 1-year-old German nephew, and I don't like him. Not because he's not because he's German, because he's amazing. He's so happy and content, and he's on more holidays in 1 year than I've had in a lifetime. Like right now, he's on some cruise ship off the coast of Spain. I can't afford that. This is his 6th holiday this year. He's been a bit inconsiderate of the environment. He's as bad as Caligula. I'm serious. He is. He's got that new emperor confidence. Like he smiles, but inside I know what he's thinking. He's thinking, I could have you all killed. Like he's really cute and all, but underneath he's a monster. And his family are the worst. They're also loving and positive and well adjusted. Like he's gonna grow up like them into this incredible person, and I'm gonna have to look him in the eye and feel bad about who I became. He'll be speaking to me in perfect English at 15, and I'll be trying to maintain eye contact with bad knees. And you know the way babies are usually fat and useless and regrettable. Like he's genetically inappropriate. He's got a swimmer's physique. He doesn't even work out. The only exercise he's ever done is shit and piss himself and then laugh about how great he is. And I don't mind saying it. He's already hot. I don't care how that sounds. He's a hot baby. Anyway, that's all I've got time for. Thanks for everything, guys. Appreciate it, as always.
The recording has stopped.
Give it up for John, everybody. Except I think you accidentally stopped recording, and I'm sure that you want to like capture the wonderful advice.
This meeting is being recorded.
Yeah, there we go. Just kidding. No,
God, I'm such an idiot.
I'm just kidding. You don't have to record it if you don't.
No,
want
no,
to.
I
No, it's fine. It's on the internet forever anyway. Also,
yeah, exactly.
But yeah. So jumping into it, I thought you always have like a good set. I thought that the like main thing that stood out to me was I think there's opportunity with the Starbucks bit, because you say that that is like the sorry, just letting somebody into the room. I know, right? But for the Starbucks bit, I kind of I think there's an opportunity for acknowledging, because also like baristas at Starbucks are notorious for getting your name wrong. So I think there's something ironic and like, that's the one thing
they're
that you
always
want them
happy
to say.
in Ireland. That's
Wait,
like
Tom,
always noticed that.
Yeah.
Tom, do you know anyone who worked at Starbucks?
Other than me?
Yeah, you.
Oh yeah.
I could see you being happy at Starbucks. I could see it.
Yeah. Definitely from the stimulants. But yeah. And yeah, I mean, otherwise, I thought that like it was a really solid set. A lot of fish stuff, which like sometimes that's like helpful in like setting you apart. Just like, who else is gonna do a set on fish? It must be John. Yeah, this guy. Like, I don't know. That's like a general advice thing, but also like I totally understand if you don't want to like make your brand about fish, you know. Like that's also fair. But I think that Lisa will probably get into like some opportunities about act outs. But mainly the only like section where I thought might be like benefiting of a dialogue type section would be just the top of it, like maybe getting into like a conversation between you and your girlfriend about why she's a vegan or whatever it was.
Yeah, maybe it'll work better after some stuff about her, as opposed to starting the set with it. Perhaps. I
mean, maybe I wasn't like offended or thought it was harsh or anything. I just thought it would be like fun to like have a little scene. But and then I thought your ending bit was honestly a lot of my favorite stuff of the night. Just like, yeah, sexy baby, sexy swimmer's body baby. Like,
Yeah.
they do have a swimmer's body because they're generally hairless, so that makes them more, I guess, not aerodynamic, but like hydrodynamic.
Yeah.
I don't know. Either way, take it away, Lisa.
Oh, well, Jen, I had a really, really good time in this set. Thank you. It's a lot of fun. I thought you took your time. I think you like were relaxed in it. We were with you. It still was a good pace. I think at times you can even be more just sort of, we're having a conversation, but I think that like, I feel like you, from the last week and things, taking the notes to let things just have a tad bit more air. So that was really great. And I still kept laughing out loud, so I made you stop. So that was good. It was good.
No, that's great. Laughing is important.
And basically, I know what a pescatarian is. I thought there was some really fun stuff and how you delivered them, the salt, and just how you do words together and say it's salted compromise. Like you have this great way of like, even with the fish shaming, like it was really I love how you have phrased it and put it together. I thought this was a really strong set with that. I do think that the one thing is that I thought that the Starbucks Tom is right that there's opportunity there.
Yeah.
And just also the segue into the next bit was a little bit like not as smooth as the rest of the set. But I liked it because I've heard some of this is new and some of this was older material I've heard, but like put in new places. But so I thought that it worked, and I like that you're moving it around. I do love it's the way you say it. I think when you take the moment you say, how much cat food do you buy for a cat? You don't know. I love it because it really changes up the pace and how you say it. And that's where the power is right now. I feel like with your playing, because you're really constructing good sets, playing around with the delivery, like Tom was saying about, talking about fish shaming or fish, like there's just the way you deliver it. And that's what I love about, besides when you really focus on like that line, how that cat line was different than the rest of your set. It had a different energy and moment.
Yeah.
But I love the rest
of it. Say that, yeah.
Because
I've been changing that line a few times actually. So
it worked. That was the best time I've heard it because also it wasn't like the rest of your set, so it stood out differently too.
Yeah, that's
where I don't think you should necessarily change a bunch in your set of how you say it, but to be aware of it so that you have the power of when you want to use that. Does that make sense? Because one of my other favorite things you do is you do the list of 3, but you do very like, something sort of normal, a little bit may off, and then something really kind of absurd. You do that really, really well, and you do it sort of under the cuff, and you keep moving. And I love that too. So like urban cocaine parties, studio, you just said a lot of things that made me really chuckle tonight. So thank you. I really liked that. And then the whole baby stuff.
Yeah.
The nephew, the new Emperor confidence, like just your phrasing and the way you say it is a lot of fun. And I think you can even go like, I'm going to say it. It's a sect, like he's an attractive baby. Like you can, that's where you can create different energies and tones that you sort of can, because where the joke is there, if that makes sense, and playing with that. So that's my major notes really. So really fun set. Thank you.
Yay!
Thanks everyone.
Give it up.
The recording has stopped.
Everybody. Oh,
Thank you.
You didn't want to hear me say "Give it up for John," everybody. You didn't want to hear everybody applaud for you again. That's okay. Give it up for John, everybody. Woo!
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it.
Oh my God.
Thanks.
Also, for our viewers out there, which we now have one of, feel free to type in the comments if you all can also hear the Zoom lady saying your meeting is now being recorded, because I'd be really interested to hear if that's also being broadcast. Anyway, up next we got a comedian. She's funny, she's Canadian, she's tired because she's yawning. Give it up for Desiree.
Oh shoot, I have to set a timer. Okay,
I got you.
Okay. Hi, yes, I am Canadian. There's no joke there. It's not even a humble brag at this point. I just like saying it. It makes me feel good. Yeah, I don't know. I will think of something funny to put there. But a little bit about me. I low key really like, actually high key really like psychics. I have to work very hard not to give them all of my money. Yes. In Toronto, where I live, there is a place called Dundas Square. And for the Americans in there, actually for everyone in the room, Dundas Square is like a poor man's Times Square. Like, because Toronto thinks we're New York. We are most definitely not New York, but we think we are. So we have like this version of Times Square. And in this Times Square, it's very similar to yours. We have those like Disney knockoff Disney characters walking around trying to get people to give them money. We also have like various religious preachers. I think I've seen somebody handing out flyers for a comedy show. There's a guy banging on a bucket, which is pretty cool. And then there's also like cult leaders trying to recruit, and psychics and fortune tellers as well. I have to work very hard to stay out of this area. Because I am very suggestible. I will join a cult because they have free pizza stickers and cool purple robes. Yeah. But I did go to a psychic once. Well, actually, a few times, if I'm being honest. But this one time I went to a psychic and I asked her who I was going to marry, as you do, because I can't be bothered to do the work myself. It's just too hard. So I asked her who I was going to marry, and she said right away, it's a man you work with who's a little bit younger than you, but you talk to him every day. And she said, is there a man like this? And I said, yes. And she said, oh, good, I'm right. And I said, I don't know about that because he's gay. And then she kind of gave me one of those like, that's what you think looks. And then I gave her a look like, no, lady, I have seen this man full on kiss another man on the mouth during Pride with a rainbow t-shirt on. He is gay. And then she said, oh, then you're not going to marry him. And I said, well, who am I going to marry? And she said, well, someone else for sure. I said, gee, thanks, Sherlock. That was really helpful. Someone else. Yeah, so that is the story of how I lost $25 in about 45 minutes. Yes. As some of you know, I am disabled. Yeah. All of you know that. All of you in this room know that. But surprise, I am still disabled from the last time you saw me. I've been drinking those essential oils, but to no avail. Thoughts and prayers, though, right? Yeah. I started a new job recently. I still work at the bank. Friends at home, I work at a bank. And the job actually has to do with, it's an accessibility analyst. So it has to do with like accessibility and disability. It's a really good fit. And the woman who was training me on the first day, because we're still working from home in Canada, because the air is poison, was like, do you even know anything about disability and accessibility? And I immediately went into like all of my jobs that relate and like my education, did not mention like the 37 years of lived experience, like just did it, totally forgot. So now she just thinks I'm like a white able-bodied woman who likes to help. Like I saw some disabled people and was like, I'm coming, disabled people, to help you. This is how I think you run walkies. Never done it myself, but it's very angry. There's lots of fist pumping. Thank you. That's my time. Laptop.
Oh my God, we have the same alarm noise. Woo!
Yes.
Keep it going for Desiree, everybody. Yeah. Okay. Let's dig in. I think that it's such a good story, your whole psychic bit. I think that like you've been here enough that I feel comfortable like setting you challenges. So I think you could do a whole 5 minutes around the psychic story and also about psychics. I think there's so much to dig into there, even just like if you want to jump into like maybe how you feel about the other areas like astrology and mediums, like just like as fun if you want to do it. Obviously this isn't like a real thing, so you don't have like homework.
Okay.
But I think like there were a couple of tags that I thought of. One of them being like, oh, who are you gonna marry? Well, not that guy. So like, I don't know, maybe like a comment about like, so there you go. That's the story of how I lost $25 and got one person closer to the man that I'm gonna marry.
Oh yeah, that would be good.
Only like however many billion left to go. But
yeah.
So I think that was fun. As far as like your newest stuff about the new job, I love it. I wonder if there is a way to kind of do, and you've mentioned me give this note to other people before, as far as like what is like the most succinct way that you can describe your job, and also potentially it's a one-liner. It would be like a double whammy. Which
like something funny, you say something funny.
I think that like for comedy, like we want to lean towards funny material. Yeah. No, but
wait, let me get a pen.
It's a hot take. It's a hot take. Nonetheless, no, but like that's the thing I've talked about before is like sometimes I think that like people, because they do their jobs, are generally like somewhat passionate or at least have a lot of knowledge in it and therefore are prone to, okay, you're yawning too, like come on. But yeah, like they're prone to like over explain their job when really you got to think about like what's the most essential thing for the story, and it's like going to be that accessibility stuff.
Okay.
And then otherwise I thought it was all pretty solid. A lot of the tiny switches you made to your pacing and like set order I thought worked. So I'm just gonna stop giving you expert advice like jokes be funny in comedy and pass it to Lisa.
No, thank you, John. No,
that was good though.
Yay!
I like it. I always like how you, like I said, when you started off, it makes me feel good. I think you can, that you don't have to even say insert something funny there. That is, you can, you're earnest, your authenticity of like, it makes me feel good. You're so Canadian of you too. So like, so when I say I'm American, I get a little sad. No. And
everyone's always happy to see a Canadian.
Mm-hmm. We are. We just assume you're just better. You're nicer. You're like a filtered American. You've removed so many of the awful impurities we have. So, but I like how you say a little about me. It's a really easy segue right into shifting gears. I think that's a really strong just tool to have. You do a little bit about me, and then you can, that leads you into anything you want. So that's great. Dundas, I still think Dundas Square is just funny. I really like the nice to see Dundas. I did miss, there's things in the, we've heard a majority of the jokes before, which they were still really funny. But I noticed you switched up some order of things, and I lost a few things that I guess, and maybe this is just me because it is subjective, what the feedback I'm giving, that I was like, oh yeah, I didn't hear it as clearly in other sets, not because they weren't funny, but like banging on a bucket. I feel like if you put that later in the list, it's so funny with the way the consonants are.
Okay.
Banging on a bucket, like, and there's this, and there's this guy that does that, you know, and sort of, it doesn't mean you can't list something after, but I think there was a longer list this time, and it got a little. Does that make sense? Okay. For me, you know, as I said, I'm just subjective. That list you did the list of threes, the pizza, the stickers, and purple robes, which are like, I love it if you got specific with those stickers, like a specific type of sticker. like a Lisa Frank sticker.
Oh, yeah, I would definitely join a cult for a Lisa Frank sticker.
See, like a lot of, like, I know a lot of women would be like, Lisa Frank sticker.
Yeah.
Not to interrupt, but also I definitely thought in my brain that you said free pizza stickers.
I would also join a cult for free pizza stickers.
That's the best part is like you have so many great things you can go with there.
Okay.
Like stickers, I was like, ooh, I like stickers, but like tell me what type, like the specificity of what you would be your downfall into a cult. So not just any sticker.
Uncrustable stickers. Yeah.
Uncrustable stickers.
I like that too.
Ooh, but
delicious.
And working, what did you say? Work myself nice. I said nice addition. What is it? Work myself. I don't know what that, I can't remember. I was stuck on the stickers, but you keep what was it? You keep, oh, this was something with the background. I like this background, but I want you to know I like the visual, but it kept disappearing your shoulder, and it became almost distracting at times for me. Like I just noticed it. Also, I'm looking for that because that's technically my job right now.
Yes.
But so that is why I'm doing it. But the funny thing is, I did like it for the running because the running it like had a blurry sort of like kind of feel.
It's so fast.
It like this is how you run, right? I'm like, like the
very
road
angry,
runner, you know, like. Coyote, Wile E. Coyote, but I was saying, so like just knowing like what different backgrounds, you know, sort of the strength or the thing that they do or do not for you. So, but it kept your shoulder. This one kept disappearing a lot. So that I want you to know about. What else? We have like someone else. I think this is something that I was saying with John earlier. Someone else. You can have an emphasis on that. You know what I mean? Like, or, you know, like that's it. Ta-da, someone else. Like,
yeah.
Thanks. Like, so that you can do that all in tone and delivery. Yeah. And I liked nice addition tonight was Thoughts and Prayers. Like Thoughts and Prayers. That was great. That to me was fun, but I think that's also like your spot. You always have a spontaneity, even though I've heard a lot of this material before. A, you're always reconstructing it. B, you're also always being authentic, and you're always allowing those moments of just spontaneity of like phrasing to be different. That I feel like was Thoughts and Prayers. Was that just spontaneous tonight?
Yeah.
Really,
I think I like it.
Yeah. And everyone knows. Remember, like the world is burning. Thoughts and prayers. And
yes, I remember 9/11, Lisa.
Yes, thoughts and prayers. But I thought that was a lot of fun. I think those are all my major notes. But just having fun with the phrasing of how the emphasis you give things. So like someone else sort of can end it on its own versus I think it kind of ran in. The energy was a little bit. It gives it the ta-da that it might need. But yeah, that was pretty much it. I really, really liked it. I always love it. So thank you again for showing up and sharing your comedy.
No problem. Always.
Give it up for Desiree, everybody! Woo, 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 woo! All right. Up next on the mic, it's gonna be you, Aman. But before I do your formal introductions as you came late, I just want to make sure that you know that you're going to be given 5 minutes. I normally have a timer, but I don't today. So when you have a minute left, I'm going to go 1 minute. And we all agreed that it was okay for me to do that, and it's not creepy. But anyway, give it up for our next comedian. First time on Too Funny Feedback, Aman Arif Merchant. Woo, woo, woo!
Thank you. I'm not clear on what I'm going to do, but I can just tell you this was a bad idea. All right. We can start off with, I just graduated university. I'm looking for jobs, but I don't like networking, and I've gone on LinkedIn. Anytime I get on LinkedIn, it just kills my soul on the inside, right? There was this post about there's this mock job somewhere, and it was a reverse internship, which sounds much worse, which sounds a lot less worse than what it really is, which means it was $15 an hour and you had to pay $15 an hour to work there. Right? and the scary thing about LinkedIn is it's like being peer pressured by a popular kid, but like on meth and like ecstasy at the same time, where no one will ever say anything that sounds even remotely wrong until they know, what side the creator of the post is on. So a lot of people under this post were going, well, Warren Buffett's mentor said you cost. So Warren Buffett went to his mentor to ask him for mentoring from a mentor. But his mentor said, no, that's too expensive. You're costing me money like that. You should pay money. You should pay me money to learn. And I don't know. I gave up at that point. Underneath, I don't. That is the most dystopian reply I could have ever heard. And I got 4 likes.
The recording has stopped.
And I got 4 likes. And I think I have my faith in humanity is slightly saved now because of those 4 likes. How much time do I have left?
You have 2 minutes and 40 seconds left, and I will be saying 1 minute when you have 1 minute left.
All right. I used to date this girl. It was really weird, and she had this, she had this tendency to tell me about things, like about her life. And eventually, she started trying to tell me, what it's like to be a woman in today's society. And first and foremost, holy shit, it is really hard. I don't know what I was expecting. It's just I wasn't expecting what I got. Oh, and it is terrifying. No, great. And I heard all that, and I was like, you know what? I have to stand up. I have to make a change. I have to be better. So I woke up one day and I decided I'm no longer going to blame women for all my problems. I'm going to make a change. Yay. I'm going to start blaming the gays now. I know. I'm not a hero. I'm just a man. I'm just a man merchant. I was so compelled by everything she told me. I almost called my mother, I almost told her, hey mom, I'm so sorry. I never realized everything you went through, and I never acknowledged how hard your life is. And just as I was about to do that, I remembered, I'm not a fucking loser. I can't let my mom win like that. Like, I'll tell her, I'll admit everything, but like on a deathbed, so that she does win, but for like 3 minutes, and then the secret dies with her. So I'm only a loser, but like in the afterlife, not in the present world. And I think that's a perfect loophole. Anyways, thank you so much. My name is Aman.
Nice.
Woo, 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 woo. Give it up for Aman, everybody. Okay. Jumping right into it. Let me stop your timer. I think that the overarching note, as far as like the entire set, is like you're really gonna wanna, I think, just you have great premises for a lot of your jokes, and it's really going to be a task of just really editing, as far as like really trying to keep it as succinct. We talk about laughs per second in this, so that we can have more room for your jokes, and also it's really like economy of words and thinking about like what is the least amount of setup that I need to get to the punchline. That being said, again, I thought a lot of your premises were very funny, and I think that once you are shortening those jokes, then you can actually dig into those same topics more, because by saving that time, you will have more room to tell more jokes. So that is just gonna be like your task is like the editing. But overall, like there were still some real good ones in there. And then beyond that, I do just have to say that because this is a feedback mic, I get that like everybody is coming here to learn. And part of that is that I do just want to like take an opportunity, and I don't know if you noticed this, but you did the joke about like the blaming women for everything, and then the blaming the gays for everything. And I don't know, did you notice any change in like the level of like tension in the room?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that and if this is something you already know, feel free to just take whatever I say and throw it out the window. But I think that a lot of why that happens is that if you're not specifically like a member of one of those communities, whether it's women, whether it's gays, or whether it's some other type of marginalized community, it's really hard to kind of like speak to it in a way that isn't kind of like taking advantage of like being in a sort of position of power, because that's part of it too, is that like for your 5 minutes people only have like your narrative and your perspective to go off of. So anything that you say about women or gay people as not a woman and not a gay person is still going to be the only story that's told. So I would just keep that in mind and think that like just like keeping that in mind, you can like definitely tackle like jokes that are centered around like a woman's issue or an issue in the LGBT community. But if you keep that in mind and maybe gear your jokes with that understanding in mind, you'll be able to navigate those topics without like building up that tension. Or alternatively, if you want to keep things the same, making sure that you have a joke that comes right after that kind of undercuts yourself a little bit, because that's the thing in comedy too, is I think it was like in the Hannah Gadsby special, like part of the explanation that she gives of comedy is kind of like the building up and the like immediate breaking of tension. So if you're gonna say something like really, really controversial, then like following it up with something that's gonna like totally flip it on its head. And also ideally maybe balance out that whole narrative dynamic. But that's it. Take it away, Lisa.
Thank you, Tom.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Of course.
That was really well said, I think.
Okay, so like I'll also say this before Lisa gets into it too. I also if you go to the TB&J open mic, when you sign up, I specifically have people agree to like not that you like teetered into this realm, but like I say that like when you sign up, you are agreeing that like if the host considers what you're saying like hate speech, you'll immediately be kicked out of the room. And I purposely don't have that on this because I think that so many people are like doing comedy and they see other comedians who are like edgy, and that is like a skill that comes with a lot of practice, being able to like navigate those topics. And I don't want to like necessarily punish people for putting themselves out there just because it didn't necessarily land the way they wanted. And I'm also trying to take people who come onto this show, even if they don't know me, with the best of intentions, and that their objective is not to like make people feel bad. So sorry, that's just my TED talk.
Can I ask a question though?
Yeah.
So again, I'm not trying to argue about this, but like I did start off by talking about how I, as a very proper adult man, I just learned how hard it is to be a woman. Do you feel like that does kind of show that I come from a very ignorant perspective, and that is what the mockery is about. It's a mockery of how ignorant men are, and how we see, how even at our wokest, even when we do learn things, we're still in the same vicinity of crappiness. We just feel like, okay, we have elevated, but not really. We've laterally moved instead of being, getting better. We've just moved from dog shit to cow shit.
Yeah.
Does that come across?
I hear you. And I think that is maybe something you'd want to explore too. I think that the reason that isn't the message I was necessarily taking away from that section of your set and that section of your story is because generally what people will remember is like how you end a bit. So maybe if you reorder it and then you bring in like the ignorant male's perspective afterwards, that might have a different effect. But also I would like maybe explore more other ways that like you would then be looking to undercut yourself, because even in a way, the fact that, you don't really have to, in your position, navigate life ever having to know, stuff about women, is kind of a privilege too. So...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I feel like that's what I was trying to do in that show, that my privilege is being completely unaware of this entire horror experience that half of the world's population faces every single moment of their existence. And the moment that I encountered that information, I instantly used it to make me feel better by moving to another group. I think that's what I was going for, but it's good to know that that's not how it came across.
I think it's more just like I would play with like that same idea and either making it more clear, or again, it may even just be reordering it so that if it's the bit that's last, and that's how you're ending the message, again, that's like the end of it is what people will remember the most. And that's also like kind of because that is joke structure. It's set up in punchline, but like really people remember the punchline.
Okay, cool. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah, of course. And again, like that's what this show is like really for, is like getting into these topics. Anyway, Lisa, take it away.
No, I was gonna say, no, I enjoyed. Thank you for joining us tonight. I don't want to be in spotlight myself. Sorry. So, I liked the like slightly saved. I love the story. So you have like a storyteller sort of vibe, and you're telling stories that are very personal, which I enjoy. So I think that the economy of words that Tom was talking about, just editing it a little bit, so that we get to the punchline a little bit quicker, but don't lose any of the what you're communicating in that, and in those jokes and those setups and that story. I really I thought the nice hand gesture, like the little bit, like I like that. I saw the phone thing, like I like that when, because what I talk about, and Desiree's been waiting, now Amira knows it too. Point of view, POV. I say it every POV is
Audience,
that
take your shots.
Yes, there you go. That literally this box is it's everything. It's your stage. So you have really through this Zoom comedy, you have total and utter control over that world. And I just want to let you know a few things, because that's part of what I'm looking at. Is so the camera, I don't know if it's your phone or a different type of mobile device. It was a little bit shaky. If there's a stand or a something you can lean it up again, that it's pretty secure, I think that will it would shake a little bit more enough to be noticeable. I mean, I'm obviously still listening to you, but I want you to know like what little aspects technically that maybe you can do, just so you're making a choice with that versus it just happening. So I just wrote camera shaking, and I love I liked, there was a really good line there. It was like tendency. I had a girlfriend and she had a tendency to tell me about things. Cause like that in itself is like, I remember hearing Desiree, like she tends to tell me things. It's like, yeah, that's your girlfriend, right? Like that, I think that there was an opportunity to just pause there for a little bit. Like that's really funny. I know, I think that, and I don't know if, I think, that's funny, but I feel like your joke was kept going. So allow that, knowing that that's a punchline in itself is really good. And then, something that showed really emphasis, and I feel like your energy changed when you said, holy shit. So first of all, like, you didn't use any bad language until then. So it has more emphasis when you do. And it was the way you said it. So like, holy shit. And I loved it because it's like, it is really hard. Because you were realizing it in the moment. And that is something, as like my performance background, like it's really interesting when I feel like I'm watching you experience it then and there. I'm experiencing it with you in that respect. So that I think is really great. That was a great moment of like, holy shit, it's really hard. Like, and I was like, yes, it is, as a female myself. And I thought that was a really good, authentic moment. And those were my favorite parts to your whole set, because it was when you were really like realizing something, or, and sharing that story in that moment. And he said it's terrifying. I think this is, and I'm going to step on your toes a little bit, Tom, for writing. I think it's a really great opportunity to do your rule of threes, of an example of 3 things that terrified you to know about being, how hard it is to be a female.
Oh yeah.
You can throw in 3 things that she told you, or something that like just or don't make sense to you. I think that that's a real opportunity there. It's so and then Blaine was this, so I did write down the subject matter that, and I got the point you were making, where I've decided to start blaming gays and that whole thing. It didn't land the right way, because it was sort of I didn't feel like I knew you well enough for what the intention was, I think, with that, if that makes sense. And like, I think that what Tom said it very well and eloquently, in the way of why I think it didn't land the way you thought it would. I got what I think you were trying to do, but it still felt for a moment uncomfortable, if that makes sense, with that tension. Because and then I think if you add an undercut right past that, I think that will take it away. That can take that tension, and we can all laugh together about it with that. Doing that sort of reversal flip on that, and being like, and that's how I've cemented my ignorant man status, or something like, something like that. Simple, succinct, that also reflects that the joke is the intention of that joke. But thank you. So, I think Tom did a really good job of sharing with that.
Thank you so much. I did have this, I'm very confused and I'm very unsure about this part, because my name is Aman, but like most people say it, a man, right? So that's what I was trying to go for. Like, I'm not a hero, I'm just a man. I wouldn't yeah. And do you think that's a good enough joke to like undercut the tension that's created there? Because I feel like it's not very good, but like, does it get you to the next part?
I think in general, like name jokes, it's very rare that I hear them where I feel like, because we also talk about like and sorry if this was a question specifically for Lisa, but
no, everyone.
Okay, cool. So like for the writing part of it, one of the things that like I encourage, because I think it's a good structure for a set, is kind of bookending. And just for like name jokes, it's very rare that I like hear one, like they're funny name jokes, but rarely one that's like so funny relative to the other jokes in the set. It's like, was that the best joke of the set, or one of the 2 best jokes in the set? So maybe not as like the joke to like cut the tension. And I also think that like maybe there's a way to make that joke in a context where you can play with like maybe mocking an American accent for like mispronouncing your name, to make it more clear that like your name is Aman, and then literally saying "a man" or whatever an American accent sounds like. I don't know, I just live here. But nonetheless, I think that it's a good joke. I think it's just like maybe like clarity that it's a man, like that pun, because it is fun, and maybe just different placement, because I already know, like from hearing your set just now, like that's a funny joke, but you have some other in there I would rank a little bit higher to make sure you're bookending with those.
And also you can talk about at the beginning of your set how people mispronounce your name. That's also another thing, LinkedIn, or that they don't know how to say it right. Like I come across that. My name is Lisa, but it's spelled like Liza. So like there is the whole, you could address that in the beginning, and then later on it's like that funny where you circle it back in, where it takes a moment and they catch up with you because you're like, oh, I remember he said that he had, and Alman, I meant like that, you've already kind of placed the punchline already in there earlier without them knowing it, if that makes sense. I also liked, I can't let my mom win like that. The phone thing, I think you can go further with it too and like commit, like, but then I realized I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to let her, and I think win is funny. I'm not going to let her win like that. Like have that realization like you did, like, holy shit, it's really hard there, and be like, no, I'm not going to let her win. And then, or I'm going to let her win, but for like 3 minutes, like, and then she's going to die and go take it with her. I liked that. I think that there was, but I can't let my mom win like that. So like, and there's also an opportunity of just like setting up your relationship with your mom a little bit more if you want. But I said, I like that, but I liked that. I thought that was funny, but I can't let her win like that. And there's also that competition thing. And there's, it brings back to like finding a job and doing all these, the win-lose sort of battle in that. So, but yeah, I think that everything that Tom said and just saying, looking at where do you want those blasts to land, and like figuring out, like, because we're getting on a ride with you, and you're taking us, you're the conductor, so we're going through with you, and that's why I think you want to think about that, and that but there's some good stuff in there, so I just keep with it, and I enjoyed that, and like I said, that real moment realization with the storytelling, like you're living it with us at the moment, I think really works. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Really helpful, guys.
Yay, good. Give it up one more time for not a man, Aman. Woo, woo, woo. Oh my god! It's also because you came in a little bit later. I also feel bad because I'm always scared that people sign up for this also and then like realize only upon like after doing their set that it's a feedback mic. Because I feel like I always forget, like, did I make that clear? I mean, I know it's in the name of the show, but still, but nonetheless, and also very intimidating being on our show for the first time and also streamed to a viewer. So that being said, another round of applause. Woo, 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 woo. And we're gonna move on to our last comedian of the evening. Please give it up for Amira Boualsad. Woo, 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 woo.
Ooh, thank you. Hey guys, how you doing? This is about good. Okay, so my family and I went to the Dead Sea, and it's like super dead there, like really salty. Nothing can live in there. My aunt was warning everyone, like, don't open your eyes, it's gonna burn real bad. And my dad doesn't like people telling him what to do. So he opened his eyes. I was like, why'd you open your eyes? And he's like, I wanted to see the fish. If you wanted to see the fish, go to an alive sea. Maybe even safer, go to an aquarium. So my dad's the type of guy that likes to watch children's movies. One of his favorites is Aladdin, but he likes to pronounce it Aladdin because we're Arab. So he'll really get into it. He'll make popcorn. If he needs to use the bathroom, he'll pause it. He won't pause any other kind of movie. He'll sing along. He'll be like, I can show you the world, shining, shimmering, splendid. Then me princess, now when did you last let your heart decide? I'm like, hey dad, can I talk to you? I'm a bit lonely. He's like, no, go away, whore. Some foreigners have trouble pronouncing words, but he has no problem calling me a whore. Another one of his favorites is Annie. He's like, tomorrow, I love you is only a day away. I'm like, hey dad, I'm feeling a little bit suicidal. Can I talk to you? Like, no, go away, slut. Oh, okay. I guess there won't be a tomorrow. All right. So my friend loves to talk about a traumatic past. I love changing the subject. So she'll be like, my mom beat me, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, did you know a camel has 3 eyelids? She's like, oh, well, if I had 3 eyelids, my mom would beat them all. I'm like, okay, well, did you know dogs are colorblind? She's like, well, if I were a dog, my mom would beat me. All right, well, it's 77 degrees out. It's really nice today. It was 77 degrees when my mom first beat me. Well, clearly you didn't get beat for complaining too much. So my dad beat her. All right, just kidding. I stopped him. Okay, so all right, so my dad was like, okay, so usually people are scared if a car is about to hit them, but my dad was like, a car was about to hit my dad, and he was just like, Allah, take me now, I am ready. Allah's God. Okay, so okay, so my sister was complaining about her neck and her back. She said she wants to have surgery on them. So I was like, my neck, my back, I need surgery on all of that. I'm very supportive. All right. So it was Father's Day recently, and I was like, hey, Dad, do you want watermelon for Father's Day? And he's like, yeah, sure. And I was like, so cut it up. It's not gonna cut itself. Great daughter. Okay, so in my religion, like if you say alhamdulillah, it means like thank God for what I have. Like when you get hurt, you get good deeds. So like I was in the shower and the shampoo fell on my foot, and I usually swear when I get hurt. So I was like, shit. And my dad was like yelling up the stairs, say alhamdulillah, you're not going to heaven. Like, leave me alone. All right, so what is this? Okay, so I was going to an open mic. I was going to a party, and then I decided to go to an open mic like on the way there. My sister's like, hey, you're killing 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm like, yeah, I love murdering birds. And she's like, what? So I don't know what I wrote, but I'm gonna just say something I thought of. So one time I was on a plane, and it was like 8 hours to go to Britain, and then there was a layover to go to the Middle East, like another 9 hours to go on the second plane. So I was getting really bored, and my iPod at the time just like ran out of battery, and they didn't have a movie playing or anything. And so I was like, we were in Britain, and I was just like, oh, I'm gonna be British now. I was like, oh, hello, I want to get some water. And my dad is like, stop doing that. You're gonna offend people. And I'm like, thanks. And I'm like, yes, like me. Like he thought I understood. And I was like, yes, like me. And I just kept doing the accent. And then I was like, oh, I'm like, I'm getting too antsy. I need to like spread my legs. And he was like, stretch your legs, stretch your legs. Like, oh, okay, whatever. I'm gonna end on a really quick joke. So I like going to the eye doctor because I get a guy that stares directly into my eye instead of the TV behind me. Thank you. That's my time.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Hey. Give it up for Amira, everybody. Hey, Amira. Oh man. Good set. Let's jump into it. One tag I thought of was for the whole Dead Sea bit. I thought maybe like the beginning when you're describing it, like there's nothing alive in it. Hey, I'm kind of salty about it. I don't know, it's not that great. You don't have to take that one if you don't want. But something I noticed, and this goes a little bit into the performance side, sorry Lisa, but like I also was curious, like when you are impersonating your dad and singing, does he do the finger tap thing, or is that you?
That's him drumming. Like this is
okay, cool.
I just found one, so next time I'll have the actual drum with me. It'll be funnier.
I mean, also, if it's like the finger tapping thing, if you don't want to take a drum set to live open mic, I think just like commenting something, some kind of comment on the fact that he's like drumming with his fingers, like something to kind of bring it home. Because again, I was just like a little bit confused as to whether or not that was dad or you. And if it's dad, then I think that could be funny. And next, I thought it was funny, and it wasn't the punchline of your joke. I don't know if you realized it was funny. It might have been like a little throwaway, but the phrase, just feeling a little bit suicidal. Like just like a tad. I thought there was something about that, and like that may be something to explore. I feel like you've been on this show enough that like I feel like that's a little bit the brand. Like we can dig into that more. That may be a bit there. I went to a feedback mic and they said suicide jokes were my brand. But oh yeah, and then so the like joke about your friend getting beat. Two things I want to acknowledge about this. The first is that like you kind of have a ladder going, and one way that you might want to try finishing up your ladder is like you have the like 3 eyelids thing, and like everything that she says somehow she relates it back to like getting beat. So maybe try like also making the last one in the ladder just like something really absurdist, like almost cartoony. Maybe just like to see what that does to the energy a little bit. And then the second thing that I wanted to mention about this is that something that you do really well is noticing the room, acknowledging when something doesn't land, and every time that you said something that didn't land, and I'm assuming that these were not pre-written, but you kind of like tagged yourself until you got like a laugh to like relieve the tension that you'd build up. So I just thought it was worth mentioning that that is a skill that you have. So good job. Something else that I thought was like funny phrasing, like I love murdering birds. Hunting? I don't know if that's what we call it. Either way, I wouldn't change it. And then the last thing I wanted to mention is like really a note for all of us to take, and everybody at home watching who's thinking about doing comedy. If you go do a mic online or in person, Amira did the best thing that I feel like is rarely talked about but is always awkward, and that's like when somebody either says time or 1 minute or whatever. Amira's response was perfect. Say thanks, move back to your set. I think that is so important because so many times it is like, no, I said 1 minute, not start a conversation with me. So cool. That's it. That's all I had. Take it away, Lisa.
Nice. I thought this was a strong set. I feel like you took a lot from past mics. Like I can see the work you did, but it's not. It was like everything was elevated and really funny. Like I feel like you found a good flow, and there was a real ease, and like we were like I said to Aman that getting on that train, and we're sort of the conductor of it. Like you did a really good job of that. I like Super Dead. Like still like that Super Dead. Nothing alive there. I wrote down. Did you get a haircut? Because it looks really nice. You did it. Just okay, cool. It'll look good. I wrote nice haircut. I was saying. Oh. He wanted to see real fish, and this is funny. I wrote this, and then you went right into Disney. Like you go to aquarium or watch. I wrote down watch Finding Nemo, yeah. Disney or Finding Dory, and then you went right into the Disney. I was like, oh my gosh, went right into the Disney stuff as I was writing it. So I don't know if that's something you want to use or not, but like it's a good segue. You can watch Finding Dory or Finding Nemo if you want to see fish, And he loves all the Disney movies, and that's one of them. So I love how you really committed with him and doing his accent and how he says things is fantastic. The drumming, I want to see the drum. I think that would be awesome out of nowhere. You're like your dad, like and the drum just appears, and you're like, I'm not saying you could do that in open, like in person mics, but that you can do that.
Just somebody like laying underneath the stage and like waiting for the cue to like throw up a drum.
Here's a drum.
Oh my god.
No, but like I just love the idea because it would take, because it's also you really committing to your dad. Like you spend a while on that song, which I love because it also lulls us sort of like, oh, okay, she's singing the song, and then suddenly he calls you a whore at the end. It's like it lulls us into this like, I can show you the world, okay, and then abruptly you wake us up out of that like with the whore thing, right? So I like that, but I think a drum would be awesome. Like just how suddenly you're drumming and you're him and you're committed. I want to see it. You don't have to just for me, but I'm saying I think you can try it. I wrote great commitment. No go away whore. Like I just thought that's the way you say it. And then again, slut. I thought that was funny. And I know you say a bit suicidal, you could always, I say a dash, like, it's a recipe, just a dash. Suicide, I don't know. That was funny. And I guess there won't be a tomorrow. I know it could be a little bit of like, but like, it was funny to me, like, because the way you say it, very off the cuff, like, oh, I guess there won't be one. And like, everyone's like, oh, wait a minute. It's like that quick connection. So I appreciated that. I did really like, I think the beginning of the ladder, maybe you put it somewhere else. No, I don't know if you put it anywhere else. Like, I think that Tom is right about the ladder with the beating. But I loved, if I had 3 eyelids, my mom would have beaten them all.
All 3.
Because like, that was funny because it's so absurdist. And I don't know if maybe you save it for later, but like, to me, that was where the height of that joke for me, because it was just so ridiculous that she would beat them all with eyelids. And I stopped her. I like that you're like, you sort of throw them, like, no, I stopped it. Right. You do it more with your dad. Like, I think that having fun with the whole just committing with your dad and Allah is God, like, it's the little off the cuff stuff that you do on top of the storytelling. And like Tom says, one of your strengths is when something doesn't land well. And usually you say like, oh, put something not funny there or something. I think that's been your phrase or something, or like, but I like that tonight you didn't use that phrase. Not that you can't, because it's great, but you did it in a different way. Like, you didn't say that phrase, but you made an off the cuff joke again to make that moment, recognizing that moment and then making it funny. It was good. I am very supportive. I really liked that one. I love murdering birds. What I loved about that one, besides it's really funny and we think, kill 2 birds. I love murdering birds. It was the emphasis again, the energy, and you stopped. Like, there was like a straight on, like, I love murdering birds, like energy that wasn't anywhere else in the set.
Yeah.
So, which is why it also landed so well. It's like, murder, yes, like, success. I've achievement unlocked. And I like the whole spread my legs, no, stretch your leg, because it refers back to the whore, the slut, the whole thing, like, too. And with the doing the accent, what do you want? This is my question for you. What do you want out of that joke of like, how do you want that accent can go? Because there's a lot of British accents, and you can play up the stereotypes. So you can do like, was it My
like
Fair
really
Lady?
Cockney.
Like, you can get, I used to be able to do it. My Fair Lady, she's like,
oh yeah, crumpet tea.
What, cranky, wouldn't that be lovely? And you can be like, cup of tea. Like, you just keep saying tea. What kind of tea? Like, because that's all they drink, or, things like that. Or, I wasn't believable as being, British because my teeth are too nice. Something, I don't know, ridiculous, but something also insulting. I don't know. I lived in England for a year, so I love England. So I'm very much, I love that place. But, or things you can sort of play with that. But I would say, like, the English accent is really funny, and I want commitment. But I think you can get very specific and decide what you're trying to achieve in that moment with what type of English accent, and also like what you want to do with that in that moment. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
All right. But I love that. I love that you're going for it. You're doing voices. You're really changing your energy. It was a really fun energy tonight, and just
very
back
dynamic.
and forth. So thank you.
Can I ask you a question? So, so Tom was saying to put the last thing, to come up with something off the cuff for the traumatic friend one that keeps bringing it back to her.
Mm-hmm.
So, if the camel with 3 eyelids is kind of more of the off the cuff thing, should I switch that to the last one, or just come up with another off the cuff kind of thing? Like,
you could probably just switch it to the end, unless you
come up with something
just
different.
like it's also like a room where like if you don't want to. If you want to think of something funnier, and like it would be like you can use the camel joke and put that at the end of it.
Yeah.
But it could also be a fun exercise to be like, what's more absurdist than a camel with 3 eyelids and like beating each of them?
My mom would have beat them all.
I also like, for some reason, because of how my brain works, like when the image comes up in my brain, I imagine that your friend is a camel since they're having each of their eyelids beat. But that's a that is in the reject Disney movies pile. Girl and her camel that gets beat. I don't know. Nonetheless, yeah, give it up one more time. Did you have any more questions?
Did you have anything?
Okay, cool. Give it up for Amira! And give it up for also my, wait, I forgot to spotlight myself. There we go. Give it up for my amazing co-host, Lisa, all the comedians for being so open to feedback, and of course, to our awesome audience. I know you're out there, or maybe you're in the future and I'm talking to you from the past, and I appreciate you, which is very possible because video on demand. Anyway, again, if you want to support the stream, you can do so at districtcomedy.io. Again, that's districtcomedy.io. Or hit that share, like, subscribe button, and if you want to be on the show, you can sign up using that same link. And yeah, see you next week. Have a good night. Goodbye.